And Loc Tran is with Minh Phu, biggest shrimp farming company in Vietnam, and I think it's safe to say he coordinates all of their aquatic animal health. So, Loc.
You have a pointer? No pointer, right? Pointer?
Yeah, the green star.
What's that? Okay.
That's the pointer.
Okay.
Forward.
Okay, good morning, everybody. So today I'm standing here representing for Minh Phu Seafood. So currently Minh Phu Seafood is the largest seafood exporter in Vietnam and the largest shrimp processor and exporter globally. And I'm also a founder of our laboratory, a research company named Shrimp Vet Laboratory Minh Phu Aqua Mekong. So basically, our business mostly focus on research with shrimp and fish pathology and technology development. So just give you a brief update of the farming situation in Vietnam and globally. In 2017, 2018, we could see an increase, a very fast increase of shrimp production globally. However, the market demand did not catch up, so that is why the price is decreasing. And however, there's a lot of innovation in farming. However, there's still a lot of major challenges in shrimp farming in Asia, mostly due to diseases. Some of the most important diseases include EMS, or we call it APEN, white spot syndrome virus. EHP is a disease causing stunt growth, and white physis disease. There's some rumors about the HHIV from China, and we also checked for some sample in Vietnam, and we found something. However, we don't know if it is a major problem in Vietnam or not. Consistently since 2010, we have been facing several problems due to bacterial disease in shrimp farming. So that is why the antibiotic abuse and antibiotic residual in seafood is a major concern to the food safety. So that is why our laboratory has been working quite intensively in addressing antibiotic residual by developing technology in farming that exclude antibiotic use. So just to give you some idea how those diseases look like. So first is EMS disease, is a bacterial disease. And at the University of Arizona, we work under Dr. Don Leitner and Dr. Kevin Fitzsimmons here to identify the causative agent. And it's still a major problem in several countries all across Asia and somewhere in Latin America, including Ecuador, Peru, Guatemala. EHP is a parasitic disease that causing significant slow growth in shrimp farming in Asia. So it's affecting Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, and in Indonesia. And it's a parasitic disease with the parasite colonizing the shrimp hepatopancreas and absorbing all the nutrients. White physis disease, here's a couple photos illustrating what happened in EHP infected shrimp. You see, this is negative control healthy shrimp after 45 days of culture, and this is EHP infected shrimp in the same stock. You see the size about half of it, of the negative control. And white physis disease is also a very interesting disease. So far at our laboratory, we could develop a challenge model with a couple of pathogens that can cause white physis. However, we have not published this work yet because there's a lot of question behind. And white physis is causing massive losses in Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and India currently. So we have to overcome those hurdles. And we also have diagnostic laboratory in Vietnam, and we randomly check for sample from our customer. And it's very interesting that the infection rate or the prevalence of pathogen in sample is extremely high. You see this is result from PL sample, post-larvae sample. And the thumb rule is that about 8% of sample has EMS, about 5% has EHP, and a few percent has white spot. It seems low prevalence in post-larvae. However, if we check for sample from the shrimp ponds, we see very high prevalence of EHP. You see, it could be close to 50-60%. Very high prevalence of EMS could be 50%. And for white spot, it's seasonal. And sometimes it could be up to 30%. So that means shrimp has to live with pathogen. We cannot 100% exclude them from the farming, from the shrimp pond. So how would we manage those diseases? So actually, there's a couple measures that we have to do everything as a holistic approach. So first thing is that we got to obtain clean post-larvae. So our laboratory has been working quite hard in developing hatchery protocol that could exclude EMS, EHP, and white spot. And the concept is that in shrimp farming, we got to have 3 C: clean pond, clean water, and clean PL. So that is why there's a very fast transition from earthen pond farming base to plastic liner farming base now in Vietnam. And microbiota maturation in water is a concept that has been developed with University of Arizona with Dr. Kevin Fitzsimmons doing polyculture many decades ago. And when the disease started happening in Vietnam, we started to introduce that technology to Vietnam, and it works fine. So that was why in 2014, Vietnam could recover pretty quickly from EMS. And after that, because there's a transition from earthen pond-based farming to plastic lining farming base, we modified that technology a little bit. We may use tilapia and other means of polyculture for the RAS system, treating the waste with tilapia. And we also use probiotic maturation before stocking with the PL, and it works fine. And waste management is one of the key things to control the disease because most of the contaminant is from the waste. Probiotic in feed and water is very successful. And nursery phase, multiple phases farming model works fine. And one of the key things is that our laboratory, along with several partners, has been working hard on developing different versions of functional feed. We are working on identifying functional molecules or functional feed ingredients and put it in the feed stuff. And it's proven that it's very effective in disease prevention as well. So I want to show you a couple photos of nursery or multiple phase system. So basically, we are not stocking from the PL and harvest with the subadult. But we may divide the farming to different phases. First is the nursery phase. We may stock the PL at high density, but we prepare the water very clean and mature it with good probiotics and feed the shrimp with high quality feed, etc. And then we harvest the juveniles and put it into the second phase. It's also, still in the plastic liner pond with waste collector. And we may do siphoning multiple times per day to make sure that the pond is absolutely clean. And the waste will be treated. For the anaerobic waste, it will be going to the biogas treatment. and we can generate the biogas for the generator. And the solid waste in the water from the water exchange will go through a series of water treatment, including sedimentation, and then tilapia and milkfish, and then bivalves. So we can reuse that water, and more essentially, we will be able to reuse the water, and only 1 minute left, that's fast. And you know, that also generates some cash flow. So the concept is that we are not teaching the farmers with theory. We're telling them that, hey, the waste is the money. Okay, and we also integrate a lot of new technology, including real-time monitoring, IoT, and AI in farm management. Okay, so I want to show you very quickly some photos of using fermented ingredients as a way to prevent and control the disease. And it was very successful. And I think the reason is that after the fermentation, it creates a lot of functional molecules, and that help control the bacteria in the shrimp gut. And we also work with different feed additives, and using challenge model to prove it is effective against different diseases. And then we may incorporate those functional molecules in the feed and do feeding trial. And it's very interesting to show you that with the functional feed, it improved the production, including the weight gain, ADG, survival, and reducing the FCR by 10 to 15%. So that means because the shrimp are constantly exposing to the pathogen, and the pathogen really reduce the productivity of the farm. So we have a lot of hidden losses, but we don't know. And with regards to F3, we have been testing a lot of innovative ingredients from F3 companies over here. And it's very interesting that we could replace some percent of fish meal and fish oil. However, the interesting thing is that there's a lot of added values behind, mostly on shrimp health benefits. So usually after the feeding trial, we run the challenge study, and it shows some improvement in survival rate. And EMS challenge, you see here, this is very interesting research. With 5% inclusion, it improved the survival rate to close to 70%. And another trial with different inclusion rate, and we could determine what is the best inclusion rate. And that gives a lot of health benefits to the shrimp. And also pigmentation is a very good added value to the farming, because shrimp color may determine the market value. And we can do that by putting astaxanthin in the diet, but however, it's extremely expensive, and a lot of innovative ingredients here contain very high level of astaxanthin and other carotenoids. Okay, so I would say that the F3 has a lot of challenges and opportunities. The challenges could be from the feed color, texture, smell, palatability, and farmer and consumer preference and scalability. However, the opportunity is that there's a lot of added values behind that we need to explore, including health benefits, pigmentation, immunostimulation, etc. And we can have new market value proposition for the products, including less environmental impact and lower footprint. And we can make more predictable production volume and production costs. Okay. And I'm closing by a couple of messages here. That antibiotic-free farming is doable, is proven in the laboratory and in the commercial scale. And functional feed, I would say that has a lot of potential. And fish-free feed can be a game changer for the future of our aquaculture. And I think we can make shrimp farming more science-based, sustainable, and predictable, and more cost-effective. Okay, with that, I would like to thank you for your attention.
All right. Thank you, Loc.